Hello and welcome. We are going to continue our Marvel month with the first of many crossover films that we have to discuss with Avengers. Avengers came out in 2012 and this one was still released by Paramount, but it was distributed by Walt Disney Pictures. So I am confused, but I will continue to keep on watching and seeing when the switch actually happened. I will just continue to do it in mid-research instead of trying to look up everything. I'm just going to keep watching the films and we'll figure out when it's fully Walt Disney. I think at least with Winter Soldier, that is definitely a Walt Disney picture because I remember seeing it when I was in Disney. And I was really excited because it was Walt Disney. So I do remember that one as a Walt Disney picture, but this one was still Paramount and Walt Disney together, so yeah. This is the first time we have the entire cast of all the individual films that we just watched be together. So you have the original founding Avengers, Hulk, Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor, and Iron Man, and they are the team of the Avengers that they have to fight Thor's brother, my favorite, Loki. And he definitely is villainous in this film, but I still can't see him as a true villain. I know I am a fangirl, but this is the one thing. I always think of him as an anti-hero. He is along the lines more so of Deadpool, where he just cares about the mischief and he'll go back and forth. And it's something that we play with in each of the films, but it makes him such an amazing character. So I'm really glad that he got to have the spotlight on him, even if he was the villain in this movie, but it's still something we still have a lot more to discuss with him.
Is not this simpler? Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power, for identity. You were made to be ruled. In the end, you will always kneel.
He is working with Thanos, and Thanos is the ultimate villain. And he wants to rule Earth. His mission is more that he wants to rule Earth. He just wants to rule, and he is so blindsided by his craving and urgency that he wants to rule his own place. It doesn't matter where. And he still is dealing with his shock and value that he was adopted and still trying to figure out that he wants to be mighty king. So he may not have the right basis behind it, but it does make a very interesting character, and it does really motivate him and gives him a humanizing villainous backstory, because he's not really a villain, he's more just angry and an angry emo teenager, kind of like Kylo Ren. It's maybe why I like Kylo Ren so much, at the same time as I love Loki. Loki's number one though, and Kylo Ren is number two for me.
This means something to me now.
I really love the characters. Everyone's fantastic. I love the way they motivate with each other. And Hawkeye is still a minor character in this one because most of the time him and Alexander Skarsgård's character, they're Loki's puppets. He mind controls them and gets him to build what he needs and fights who he needs off. And it's not until we get to the third act that Hawkeye gets out of his spell and then switches sides and is one of the Avengers as well as them. And of course he has the motivation because he was under mind control, so now he wants even more revenge. I really admire a lot of these characters now, going back and rewatching everything, especially Iron Man. Iron Man is awesome. He is definitely becoming more of a favorite of mine now, even though he's not my top, but I really do appreciate his character. I love Captain America. And my favorite thing about it is the humor with Captain America, because he's still dealing with being frozen for 70 years, missing out on 70 years of information and media and technology. He feels very far behind, and I love that play that he doesn't understand what's going on, he doesn't know who Stephen Hawking is. He doesn't know these little minor things that we just grew up knowing from being in America because he hasn't been around. And it's just this jump of time travel for him that he needs a lot to catch up and has a lot to catch up with. But one of my favorite scenes is when they talk about the Wizard of Oz and he just is like, I know that one.
And I'd like to know how Loki used it to turn two of the sharpest men I know into his personal flying monkeys.
Monkeys? I do not understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
And it's just as amazing. I really appreciate the balance between humor and serious moments in all of these films. They really have a good handle on it. I also really appreciate the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, Nick Fury that we have, who is Samuel L. Jackson, Robin, I keep saying Robin, she's not Robin, Maria Hill. Maria Hill, who's played by Kobe Smulders, who I just think of as Aunt Robin from How I Met Your Mother.
I was a teenage pop star in Canada.
And Agent Coulson as well. They're a really excellent team, and I like that we have not only the Avengers but also S.H.I.E.L.D. And this is a start where S.H.I.E.L.D. starts breaking off and becoming their own personality, and we get to know more about them, and they're a really cool, awesome team, and we're gonna see a lot more with S.H.I.E.L.D. and them finding out who's good and evil in the future. This one was directed by Joss Whedon, who did a fantastic job. It was written and directed by him, and he also did DC, but DC failed. He co-wrote Toy Story by Pixar, which is so cool. I'm learning that right now in my facts. And he also directed Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, who is also Neil Patrick Harris is in that, and that pulls it back to How I Met Your Mother. That's an amazing movie too, but that's not Disney. But if you are a fan of this and you want to check out other work, definitely check out Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, because that is fantastic, and that's would be my rule breaker movie that I suggest.
So that's, coming along.
Avengers is an amazing film. Avengers is the first film that I saw after Captain America when I was starting to get into Comic-Con and researching, and I gravitated towards Marvel. It looked amazing, and it is, and that helped propel me to being the Marvel fangirl that I am today. And I watched everything backwards in the beginning. I watched Captain America with no knowledge of anything, and then took a break, and then I came back and was like, oh, let me watch Avengers. I watched Avengers before I watched Thor. So I didn't fall automatically in love with Loki. I didn't understand what was going on, but I got the gist and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I went back and watched Thor, and then fell in love with Loki, and then watched Avengers again, and then was able to fully grasp everything. And now that's why I'm really excited, and I keep repeating this in a lot of the videos, but I'm really glad to be able to rewatch it, and it's definitely worth it. If you want to rewatch all the Marvel films or watch it, do it from the beginning, do it in chronological order like I am, because it really helps you connect pieces together and little Easter eggs together that you could just miss just watching it by itself. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Everything is 10 out of 10. Avengers I really do enjoy, and it is a really, really, really great standalone film as a crossover film. And now it just gets you even more pumped because it's the beginning, and you just know it's going to keep building up and building up and building up. And we're going to continue along with the process. Tomorrow is the start of phase 2 with Iron Man 3. So that's what we're going to be watching and talk about that. So stay tuned. And as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon.